It's Saturday morning. Thanks for joining us here for another edition of the Hokey video blog. We've got some very interesting weather to talk about over the next couple of days. Everything from temperatures near 60 degrees to rain to cloud cover, then to snow. Yeah, it's the Ohio Valley. Wait 5 minutes and it changes, right? Well, that's what we have going on this weekend. So you'll need just about every form of clothing that you have in your closet sitting out, ready to go for this weekend as things change very rapidly. Let's get you through this morning first, show you what's going on across the region. We have quite a bit of cloud cover over spreading Kentuckiana at this point. A few breaks off to our west near Carbondale, Illinois, or so out there on I-64. But the big story is all the rainfall, all the mix, all the snowfall that's going on to our north and west. That big band of snow stretches from Iowa down to Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and back up into Michigan. And that's going to be staying up there. The rain that you see breaking out across portions of Indiana here may scrape our northern counties here just a little bit, but this has enough of a northerly component to it that I think the rain will wait until we get to the noontime and thereafter. Let's take you to an even bigger view and show you what's generating all of this. What we have is a stationary frontal boundary, really the boundary between the cold air to the north and the warm air to the south. And along these frontal boundaries, especially when you have upper-level disturbances associated with them, you get areas of low pressure that develop. Well, we've got one here in central Missouri that's going to be tracking on up to the southern portions of the Great Lakes by the time we head throughout this afternoon. As it does so, it's going to be pulling up these southerly winds, and that's really going to help us warm up today. We're talking about temperatures in the 50s, and I think some folks will be hitting the beloved 60-degree mark. How about that after a week full of Arctic air? I think I'm ready for a little break, aren't you? Well, it's not going to be lasting for long. Here are current temperatures right now, showing you some of the warmer air beginning to move in. 46 in Louisville. Check out Madisonville, Kentucky, 51 already. That's a sign of things to come as that warm air continues to get piped in as we go throughout the day. So let's go throughout Futurecast and bring you through what we face as we go throughout the afternoon hours. A lot of rain by 6:30 a.m. tomorrow. The rain is still in here. I think the rain will start in Metro Louisville sometime after 4 o'clock today. So if you're heading out to that U of L game this evening, you'll want to take the raincoat, the poncho, the umbrella, what have you, because it's going to be wet at least by the time you're getting out of the game. By the time we head throughout 6:30 a.m. tomorrow, if you're heading to church or something like that, it'll be mostly rain across most of Wave Country, but we do have the potential for a thin band of mix, some freezing rain, and some snow to track on through as this ends on your Sunday morning. Futurecast kind of depletes that as it goes through the Metro Louisville area. Let's hope that's the case. At any rate, it'll be so brief and ground temperatures will be warm enough that should not cause many, if any, problems across the region. We clear out the rain by Sunday afternoon. Temperatures, well, they're pretty chilly. We're talking about 30s. Plenty of cloud cover. Then an interesting feature begins to build in. Look at all this snow that comes in from the southwest. This has really developed on the models over the past couple of days. Earlier this week, we weren't really seeing anything like that in the forecast at all, but now we've got what appears to be a band of snow south of the Ohio River that's going to be setting up we go throughout your late Sunday into your early Monday. Could it cause problems for the morning commute on Monday? It very well could, but at this point, looks like the heaviest snow will be falling just before that max time frame. So hopefully we can get things out of here by the time folks are out and about on Monday morning. It's going to be a real tricky situation to figure out when exactly that's going to happen. Something we'll definitely be keeping track of. The overriding question on everyone's mind is how much snow is this going to be as it moves in? What I'm going to do here is show you 4 computer forecast models. These are models. These are not our forecast. We just want to show you the raw data to show you what we are pulling from. Our job as meteorologists is to take this data and to interpolate it into our own forecast, apply what we know as meteorologists to figure out where the snow is going to fall and how much. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the data. Here's the RPM model. I don't know what this thing has been drinking this morning, but man, it had some crazy amounts down there in Campbellsville. I don't think it'll get that high down there. You will notice, though, and something that I want you to pay attention to is where the cutoff line between the snow is for this band, pretty much along the Ohio River and southward. The snow you see up here in Jasper, up to Seymour and Bedford, that would be for early Sunday morning as a few flakes fall. I think it's being too generous with that as well. So RPM model, I don't think we're going to see that much in the way of snow. All right? All right. Well, let's talk about the NAM. I think the NAM has a better handle on this situation, although I do think it's overdoing the snow amounts for tonight into early tomorrow morning, where we get just that little bit of snow across southern Indiana, painting over an inch. I think that's way too generous, just based on the fact that the cold air will be chasing this snow out of here and won't really have as much time to catch up with it as it's still snowing. So that'll be difficult to pick up amounts like that. More like a dusting in places, if even that. What we want to pay attention to is the band along the river and southward, so the placement's very similar to the RPM, but the amounts are a little more in this universe, as I say. 3.3 in Munfordville, 3.3 in Campbellsville as well. You know, that's possible, I think, at this point. We could see some 3-inch totals. The 4 inches you see from Somerset down to Adair County, that might be pushing it, just based on what we think is going to happen here and the amount of moisture we'll have to work with. But certainly 1 to 2 inch amounts south of Metro Louisville, and especially south of the parkways here, yeah, that's possible. I don't think that's out of the question at this point, given the data that we're seeing and the agreement that we're seeing, especially with the placement of the snow band, not necessarily the amount. Now, we're going to go into the global models. Those are the GFS and the Euro. At this point, we really don't want to use those because their resolution is too coarse for the amount of time that we're out. You know, we're only, 48 hours or less from this event, and we don't want to use models like that. But we'll show you the data because it does play into the forecast just a little tiny bit. All right? So here's the GFS model. This is going to be the 6Z run from this morning, and it just has this general swath of 1 to 3 inches across the area, some 4-inch amounts up toward Carrollton. This is a broad brush thing that's going on here. I think the higher resolution models are going to do better with this as we go closer to the event like we are now. So, whatever, right? The Euro model, very similar to the GFS in terms of amounts and placement. It's got this snow band basically broad brushly painted over the Ohio River, stretches down to Campbellsville all the way up to Seymour. Again, this is a thing where the higher res models will have the better performance here than the Euro and the GFS, which really we shouldn't be using at this distance out in the forecast. So at this point, it does look like we're going to see an accumulating snow. This would be Sunday night into early Monday morning. Hopefully we can scoot this stuff out of here before the morning rush on Monday. That's something we'll be keeping track of tomorrow. We don't have a specific accumulation forecast yet because, as you saw, we're still seeing a bit of variance in the data there, but I think by tonight we'll be able to get some more data in, hone in on that forecast a lot better. So you want to tune in for Wave 3 News at 6 and 11. We'll have the latest data to present to you and our forecast then, as well as Wave 3 News Sunrise starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll be making sure that we keep track of the latest data for you, present our latest forecast there in the morning, get you ready for your Monday morning commute. Hopefully, things won't be too dicey out there. In terms of our long-range forecast, I wanted to touch on that real quick. We've got a couple minutes left here before the video times me out. Looks like we're going to be seeing kind of an up-and-down pattern. By Tuesday and Wednesday, this is probably the storm you heard about possibly giving us snow, but, I mean, that was just one model run, if you even saw that on social media. Looks like that's going to be mainly a rain event for us with a little bit of snow on the backside as we head into Wednesday. Temperatures get into the 40s by Tuesday, maybe upper 30s in some places. Then by Wednesday they fall. And then we see a real return to the cold weather by the end of this coming week, back into the 20s by Thursday and Friday as some cold air filters in. This won't be that whole polar vortex business or really a big Arctic blast, but certainly will send us below freezing for at least a couple of days. And really, by most winter standards, that's pretty cold. We'll be seeing that as we go throughout the first week of your February. Lots of stuff to talk about lately. The very active weather pattern as we head into the month of February. For now, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hoke. Have a great Saturday.